So you're thinking about doing renovations to add value to your home. In this video, we're gonna go through a bunch of different items throughout the house that you can upgrade and add value to your home, while also you increasing the utility, the usage, and your quality of life. By the end of this video, you'll have some really great ideas of how to add value to your home that buyers will appreciate if you ever decided to sell. In the video, we'll walk through a home that has these upgrades to kind of show you what I mean. Think about how they're going to use the space and actually live in the house before they just go in, buy the house. First thing they do is rip everything out in the kitchen and just start slapping things all over the place without really understanding how they're going to use the space. So in a kitchen, one of the most important things when you're designing it is to make sure that all of the main appliances that you're going to use are within reach. So for me, I always like to have sink, stove, and refrigerator within arm's reach. Those are going to be the items that you're using the most, the appliances you're using the most, and most importantly, it's going to make you efficient when you're cooking. Another thing that's super important when you are designing that kitchen for the value add is to make sure you have tons of cabinet space. And by cabinet space, I mean it could be in a pantry, it could be in the kitchen, but you really have to maximize the space. Most people go from having a small kitchen to renovating the kitchen, but sometimes they actually don't modify the kitchen enough to add utility and to add cabinet space to fit more items. Most people have too much stuff and they don't really plan it out before they start doing the kitchen renovation. So, one of the smart things that you can do is really incorporate your appliances into the cabinets. So by having your microwave / oven over here, you can, take counter space that you would normally be using with a microwave and throw it into the island where now it's just gonna be better use of space. You could always add additional cabinets underneath, which is great. The dishwasher can hide in the island also, so you're really utilizing everything in the kitchen and all the space. Having different cabinets for different utilities, so having all your spices kind of hidden, great feature to have, and having obviously a big pantry where you can store everything in the cabinets in a more efficient way. Again, really maximize the space. I have 2 kids, making sure that they're able to get to their snacks and that we can store everything without being cluttered is super important to us. We like to entertain, so when we designed everything, we really wanted to make sure that we didn't have stuff all over the place, all over the counters. So we incorporated wine into the kitchen, which was kind of a nice feature also, and we did beverage center. So really just maximizing the space, making sure that you have enough space for all the stuff that you have, super important. When people come in to buy the house, they're gonna love that about the property, and that will get you the best return on investment. Now, whatever you spent in the kitchen, you're probably not gonna recoup the full value back, but if you live here for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you're using the space, you're getting better utility out of the space, and you're also improving your quality of life, which to me, it doesn't really have a value. Also, you're able to host parties, enjoy the space much more if you hadn't renovated the space. Another value add that I see buyers requesting all the time is more storage space, whether it's for the kitchen, for storage of maybe Costco items or pots or pans. I think adding really, really good storage in a house is important because people just accumulate stuff, and as their family gets bigger, they just keep buying more. So adding any additional cabinet space that you can add is super important. Being able to store plates and extra cereal and snacks and stuff like that, anywhere where you can do that in a house is great. It takes stuff off the counters and it just adds so much more utility to the house. You stick all the pots and pans away, all the things that you don't use, even having a closet for vacuums and cleaning products, just to get it out of the way and really just make for a better utility and a better use in the property. And again, just better quality of life, stay organized, keep things off the counters and out of the way. Another value add that I hear buyers asking about all the time is air conditioning. They come into the house, there's no central air, and they're always worried about how much it's going to cost them to add. And sometimes I just suggest to them that it's as easy as just adding a ductless unit These ductless units are great. They go right in the wall. You kind of don't even see them at a certain point. They kind of blend in. Very easy to install, cost efficient, and also energy efficient. It gives you multiple zones in the house. That way you don't have to start running ducts and you don't have to start going crazy, busting up walls. Adding one of these ductless units may cost a couple $1,000. They produce heat, they produce air conditioning. I think it's a great value add to a house. Even if it doesn't have full-on central air, I think buyers coming in now are getting used to these units. Whereas maybe 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't as much of a commercial product. Now people are seeing them more, they're seeing the viability of them, and they're also seeing the energy efficiency of them. And it's just a much easier way to add central air to the house without having to go crazy and breaking the bank. One of the best value adds that you can put in your home is by adding an additional bathroom or an additional half bath. Usually that's about 100% return on your investment, where if you spend 20, you'll probably add about $20,000 or $25,000 to the appreciation of the house. And that's one of those things that when you do go to sell it, you should reap most of that money back. You can never have enough bathrooms, especially if you're in an area where it's high traffic, there's a lot of people, especially in an area like this. This is kind of near family rooms, so there's going to be a lot of people in here all the time, where they're entertaining, kids are playing, and just by having this extra half bath, it's just a great addition to the home. And by doing so, again, you're going to increase the utility of the house, you're going to increase the value, and you're also going to increase the quality of life. Another great feature, and also something that I hear from buyers all the time, is especially new construction houses, they're starting to see that when they built these houses, the laundry was put on the upstairs where all the bedrooms are. If you don't have that and it's in an older home where you don't have that option, or you don't have the laundry upstairs already, there are options if you have the space to bring the laundry from the basement to the first level or second level, and definitely adds utility value. You'll definitely increase the value of the home slightly, and also quality of life by not having to go up and down those steps every single time you have to do laundry. And you could simply put it in a closet where it's kind of hidden, so it's not in the way and you don't really see it. Great storage space, it's out of the way, makes an easy usage for when you're taking stuff out of the washer, putting it in the dryer. And if you're doing loads of laundry and you have a lot of kids, it just makes it a lot easier on you, and you could always keep an eye on the kids while you do it. One of the biggest concerns I always see with buyers is that when they walk into an older house, there's usually no lighting in the ceiling. There's usually either just one small dark chandelier, or there's a lamp that's plugged in an outlet that you have to turn on with a switch. Adding overhead lighting is definitely one of the best things you could do to increase the value of the house, the utility, and also the marketability of the house. When the buyers come in, they see the lights are already there. Even if the lights are older, the recessed LEDs are a little bit older, they can always swap those out. If they had to add them, it's not too much money to add if you want to do it as a homeowner. It's usually about $150 per light to add, and it just adds such more light to the room. It makes it so much more modern, and when people come in the home, if you're looking to sell, it's going to make them realize that they're not going to have to spend as much money to move in this house for the non-sexy items like lighting. Another great thing that you can do to increase not only the value of the house, but also the marketability of the house in the future is refinishing floors. It's really a pain to refinish floors because they have to sand them, and they have to stain them, polyurethane them, and you really can't live in the house for about a week. So if you are going to sell the house or look for the future, things that you can do to help the marketability of the sale of the house, I think refinishing the floors and then also keeping them in good condition is really important, because if the buyer comes in and they see the floors are the color that they like and in really good shape, in their mind, you just save them $5,000 or $10,000 on having to do that, plus the headache of having to wait a week to move in their furniture when they buy the house. Definitely a good value add. Dollar for dollar, I would say one of the best things that you can do, and one of the easiest that you can do to increase the marketability of the house for the future and enjoy it more while you're living in the home after you do the renovation. One of the cheaper things that you can do to add value to the house, in my opinion, is either add crown molding or add some moldings on the wall. It just really increases the aesthetic value of the house. I don't know if you can say dollar for dollar if you're gonna get more money, but when someone walks in the home and they see a really nice molding on the wall, it just enhances what they feel about the house and how they view the property. They look at it as more elegant. This may only cost about $1,000 to do in a room, but when people walk in and that's the first thing that they see, I think it's a huge thing that you can do. It won't cost you that much money, and I do think, it's not gonna increase the utility of the house, but aesthetically it's gonna increase the house, and also, when you go to sell, marketability is everything. I think it's a great value add. So remember, when you do these improvements, you may not receive 100% back of what you spent when you go to sell the property, but you have to think of it like this. There's an increase in utility and there's an increase in quality of life. Those are things that cannot be measured monetarily, and those are very important to think of when you're making these renovations in the first place. I'd love to hear some of the upgrades that you want to make or some of the upgrades that you have made in your home in the comments below. If you found this video helpful and you want to learn more, please consider liking it and subscribe to hear some of my other videos in the future.